I want to talk about anger. Because as I'm reading this, it made me think about being angry and sinning not. Because I have been so angry that I've been enraged, right? And I was thinking about the Pharisees, how upset they were with Jesus for no good reason. And they were enraged, and it was like blind anger. Enraged. I think about what happened to the kid on the track team. You know, the two sides. The kid come from one place, but it happened in Texas. I think about the other incident on the track team where the girl hit the other girl upside the head twice and lied about that. She tried to say she didn't do that. And how this one father, these are all recent stories. This one father, he kidnapped his daughter. He tried to cut off her head. She was almost decapitated, but he cut off her hands. Why he did that, I don't know. Just all of these different stories are just coming out, and how people are so upset and being so mad and so angry that they're hurting one another. And it's not until after the fact that they realize the thing that they've done, but it's too late because now the thing is done and there's nothing you can do about it but be sorry. Like Judas was sorry after he saw what they were doing to Jesus, but why was he mad at Jesus in the first place for being he called Jesus rabbi, which means teacher, and everyone else called him Lord. I'm talking about the disciples. That's another note. But anyway, back to being angry. And not long ago, just a few days, I was very, very upset because I thought, and I'm not sure that I'm all the way wrong, I'm just going to ask for forgiveness for this, but I was very upset with my grandson because I thought he had stole something and lied to me in my face. And I was enraged. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want him to be around me. I was just really, really, really upset. And as I was reading this story about Jesus and how the Pharisees were so blind in their anger that they sinned against Jesus, we too, and I'm talking about me, can be so upset that you can't see straight and you would make a mistake. And the Bible tells us to be angry and sin not. Was I sinning being angry with my grandson? I don't think I was sinning being angry, but it's how far we can go when we are angry that would cause us to sin. And so I'm going to look up one of the scriptures that says not only be angry and sin not, but the one that says, I'll have to look it up. It says, be quick to listen, slow to anger. Be quick to listen. Be quick to listen. Oh yeah, be quick to listen, slow to speak. I'm just looking for every man, be quick to listen, but be slow to speak. And use your tongue. Like, I guess if you do that, we take a deep breath and we can calm down and we won't make a mistake. So Jesus, I want to get to the point that I'm trying to make about Jesus. I don't understand, for the life of me, how Jesus was flogged, spat on, laughed at, mocked, and hurt as bad as he was and not open his mouth. That is the reason I'm actually talking to you. Because as I'm reading, it's making me think, wow, if Jesus did not open his mouth to even defend who he was, with all of that blood coming out of his body, and he was innocent, who am I to not be able to put my finger over my mouth, right on my tongue, guard myself so that, and I don't have to prove who I am to nobody. I don't have to even defend myself, because he can. There's a scripture that I am literally hanging on, and it says, the greatest among you is the least. No, the greatest among you is your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles themselves will be exalted. So he's teaching me, I believe, to humble myself so that when times come, situations come, I'm able to take a moment and remember that I am not my own. Jesus was not his own. Jesus belonged to the Father, and he was teaching us how to be like him. And I love reading this story about Jesus and how he took the time to show us how to be more like him. And how evil people can seem at the time. Like my grandson, I was very upset with him. He is not my enemy, but I was angry with him as though he was an enemy. And I didn't want to be around him and stuff. And I'm saying that because I had to think about that. How far we go, how far I can go when I'm angry. And that can be sinful. And sometimes we don't think certain things are sinful, but what if that was a sin to God? I reading this here about the Pharisees and the ones who try to kill Jesus made me really think about my own anger. And I pray that he would help me to be more like calm down so that I could hear him when he speaks to me, so that wisdom can come and help me make the right decision. And be slow to anger, quick to listen. It doesn't mean we always be quick to listen to the other person. You could be quick to listen to them, but be slow to anger. And if you have to walk away, or if I have to walk away, lean not to my own understanding and ask God to help me so that I can make the right decision in that situation, so that I won't sin and I won't treat somebody who I love like an enemy. Because Jesus did it before he died on the cross. Now, can I read this to you guys? What stuck out to me? In the end, I'm reading from, I love these guides. As I answer my questions to my Bible studies, I can look at these books and they help me. But this one says, let's consider an overlooked word used by Matthew to describe some of the suffering endured by Jesus. Pilate had Jesus scourged. This scourging, sometimes called flogging of a prisoner, involved the use of a whip consisting of several strands of leather attached to the end of a wooden handle. Each strand had bits of bone, metal, or stone attached to its end. They were really cruel thinking, right? Evil, barbaric, to think of making a whip with such disgusting, like to hurt somebody. It says, the victim was typically stripped naked from the waist up, bound to a post by the wrists, fastened high over his head in order to stretch the skin of the back to its maximum. It's like stretching a person. You got your head down and you bound to a pole and it's stretching you. To the maximum. It says, and whipped mercilessly and repeated by a Roman soldier, especially expert at wielding the whip. The flesh would be torn from the back as muscles were ripped and vital organs exposed. Flogging could be fatal, but the intent was not to kill the victim. The goal was to beat the victim to within an inch of his life. So they didn't whip women like this, only men. If Pilate had hoped that by having Jesus scourged, he would satisfy the bloodlust of the crowds and thereby avert his having to render an undeserved death sentence, he was sadly mistaken. They demanded Christ to be crucified, so crucified he would be. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, share it, because sometimes when I'm reading and I find a nugget that I feel like it should be shared, I just come on, doesn't matter. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for a moment as I share my heart, we should totally think about it when we're angry with one another to not to sin. There's so many innocent people being hurt, or in this case, when I think about the track team, those both kids that are identically 4.0 GPA, both on the football team, both VIPs, both are human beings, both were 17, both were human beings, both were 17, different shades of brown. One was a bully, one had to defend himself. But the story, blah, 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 a person died. An innocent person died. He was innocent in the fact that he was a kid. The other kid was innocent, but he was bullied, and he should have brought a knife, but he did. For whatever reason, there was no reason for him to bring a knife. There's no reason to bring a gun, but he did. And he killed that other kid. And all those families, the ripple effect of all of that pain is sitting on the chests, hearts, heads of the two families because of anger. I just pray that we get a hold to ourselves and have some self-control before we do something, too, that we don't want to do because we were angry. Jesus wants us to take hold of ourselves and be mindful of one another, carry each other's burdens, and be there for one another. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. You'll see me in my next video.